Yeah, good day, everyone. And I welcome you all to today's webinar. Before we begin, I want each and every one of us to observe a 1-minute silence for one of our colleagues who died on the 22nd of April, 2025. May our gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. So I welcome you all to today's webinar, and the webinar is hosted by the Nigerian Society for Biomedical and Clinical Engineering. Today, we'll be looking at capacity development in biomedical engineering. As we all know, biomedical engineering sits at the nexus of engineering, life sciences, and patient care. As technologies evolve from point-of-care diagnostics to advanced imaging and implantable devices, so too does the need for skilled professionals who can develop, maintain, and innovate these systems. So today's webinar aims to assess the current state of biomedical engineering capacity in Nigeria and the wider region, and also to identify key gaps in training, infrastructure, and professional development. Also to share best practices and successful models for upskilling engineers, technologies, and healthcare teams, and to explore partnership between academia, industry, government, and professional bodies to strengthen our collective impact. So how I'm going to be the moderator for today's webinar. I'm Olumurewa Oluwatoyin Gloria, a graduate of Biomedical Engineering and the current acting Executive Secretary of NSBCE. So here are the webinar's announcements. The webinar is being recorded, so you may exit the webinar if you do not consent to the recording. The recording will be available on our YouTube channel, NSBCE TV. And you will have the opportunity to make comments and also to ask questions at the end of the presentation. And here are the webinar's rules. All participants are to mute their microphone and camera during presentation to avoid distractions. Then you can kindly signify your intention to ask questions or contribute by raising your hand. So permit me to introduce our distinguished speaker for today, Dr. Sulaiman Abimbola Yahaya. Dr. Sulaiman Abimbola Yahaya is a seasoned professional with expertise in project management, development, and stakeholder engagement. He is a certified Scrum Master. He blends data-driven analysis and human-centered design in his leadership roles across academia and industry. And he was the former head of biomedical engineering and chairman of the Nigerian Institution of Mechanical Engineers. And also is the current General Secretary of NSC, Nigerian Society of Engineers in Ilorin branch. Is the Secretary of FETICON, that's Faculty of Engineering and Technology International Conference. He's also the Director of the University of Ilorin's Pioneering Factories Tech Hub and the Deputy Director of its Center for Blue and Regenerative Economy. He also contributes to advisory councils and mentors and mentors professionals, emphasizing innovation and purpose-driven excellence. So our speaker for today is going to be talking extensively on capacity development in biomedical engineering. Also, we have another guest speaker. Permits me to introduce Madam Nata Zaman, who is the Secretary General for Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. She's going to be talking to us about how to submit our papers and so many other things about GCEA, Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. So before we begin, okay. So Dr. Sulaiman Abimbola Yaya, over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Gloria. Thank you for having me this afternoon. Good evening, everyone. I hope I can share my screen, or probably my slide will come up.
Yes, you can. Sorry, hello, sir, Dr. Yaya.
Yeah, hello.
Please, can you spare us like 2 minutes for Nata Zaman to present? She
Okay,
just want to talk about paper presentation briefly.
no problem.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, sorry. Are we changing the agenda and you want me to present first?
Yes, please.
Okay, sure. Can you see my screen?
No, ma, we can only see your video. We can't.
Can you see now? Are you able to see the...
Yes, you can see it now.
Yes.
Okay, great. Can I just start by saying our deepest sympathy for your loss. I'm Nata Zaman, Secretary General for Global Clinical Engineering Alliance, and I'll be very briefly talk to you about what GCA or Global Clinical Engineering Alliance is, and then we'll deep dive into the 6th ICE HTMC Congress coming up shortly. So the NSBCE is a member of the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance, and we are a global organization, and our vision is to empower clinical engineers to improve healthcare outcomes. And we think we can only achieve that by ensuring that a meaningful participation from all of our community and members to advance the clinical engineering in globally, and also learn from each other. So we've got Global Clinical Engineering Alliance provides a lot of resources and materials for the community. One of them is the Global Clinical Engineering Journal, which is its vision is to be the leading global platform for clinical engineering to knowledge share. We've had about 6 volumes, 120 plus articles, and 20 issues so far, and the journal is just becoming bigger and bigger and more paramount in the healthcare community in general. We also have awards. So the nomination for the awards are going to be open shortly this month in May. And this is an opportunity for all of our community, for you to nominate your peers or the leaders in your industry, or the new the people who've just started the careers in this industry. So please keep an eye out for when the award nomination opens shortly this month. And please ensure that you nominate your peers, your colleagues, and any team within your organizations to possibly receive one of these prestigious awards. We also have a extensive amount of educational materials on our websites, from technology snaps to webinars and training documents. Again, please do, it's open to all the members of NSBCE. So please make yourself familiar and then make use of all these available and valuable materials on our websites. So today I'm here to just talk to you about the 6th ICE HTMC Congress, which is the International Clinical Engineering and Health Technology Management Congress, happening in Shenzhen in China. The 5th one, which was 2 years ago, was in India. In the last one, we had 500 plus attendees. We had 210 speakers. We've had 110 countries took part in the Congress. And we've had over 300 abstracts submitted for presentations, and we've had 200 plus speakers. So it was an extremely successful Congress. The 6th one is aimed to be one of the biggest and most successful one of them all. Is our 10th anniversary of Global Clinical Engineering Summit as well. So it's going to be really, really amazing. And it's happening in Shenzhen, which is what is the Silicon Valley of China, is the center for technology and advancement in technology in China. Is the most amazing city you'll ever see. So I was kindly allowed to comment in this webinar and talk to the NSBCE members to encourage all your members to submit papers for this Congress, because you can only have a presence if we want this summit to be genuinely global, and we can only have that by participation from the whole global community we have. The topics for the papers are I've listed on the screen: capacity building, clinical engineering, digital health, women in clinical engineering, policy and regulation, cybersecurity, connected medical devices, disaster preparedness and emergency technology deployment. So as you can see, they are listed, and I will share these slides, and then you can also go on our website, and all of these are listed on our website. And in our website, it tells you exactly how to log in, how to submit your abstract. And if you need help, if you want us to just work with you one-to-one to just go through how to do this submission, we are more than please reach out to me. We would love to have submissions for these papers from your community and your members. Other events happening in the Congress, we will have cutting edge technologies in AI, digital and more exhibitions. We will have the field through the expert-led scientific sessions. We will have in-person poster sessions. We also will be celebrating the 10th anniversary of Global Clinical Engineering Week. And there will also be the annual meeting for the Global Clinical Engineering members in this event as well. The registration fees are on the screen, but again, you can go to our website and view the registration and all the details about the registration. One of the new sections to the Congress this year is a meet and greet. So if any of your members are a medical device supplier or medical device manufacturer, this is an amazing opportunity to have a global members to see either they can tap into the global market to see what's available. We will matchmake you to your preferred suppliers depending on the type of the technology or products you're after. Or if you're a manufacturer, we can matchmake you to the suppliers who would like to distribute your products globally. So if there is any products you want to distribute in your country, this is an event for you. And if you're a manufacturer and you like your a global opportunity to distribute your product. Again, this meet and greet session is for you. So I think our main message is, would like to encourage your members, number one, to submit papers for it doesn't have to be academic papers. It can be case studies. It can be experiences you've had in implementing technologies, or your journey through clinical engineering. We are, again, more than happy to help you write up your abstract. 22nd of May is the deadline for submitting your abstract. So the deadline is dooming on us quite fast. We only have 19 days left. So please do reach out to us if you need additional help. But all the information you could possibly need, from the templates for your papers and your presentation, from there's a link which takes you through how to submit your abstract, and there's a lot of information. Another event we will have in the Congress will be also a teaching session around how to write papers, which is, we know as engineers we are very good in doing things, but we may not be as good as putting things on a paper and publishing. So there will be a teaching session and training session around how to publish articles and documents. So again, it's a plea to all your members to please do get engaged. If you can come to Shenzhen, we would love to see you there. And also, if you cannot, we would love to see your materials, your papers be presented in the Congress, so you have a presence in that global event. I think that's all I wanted to say today.
Wow, thank you so much, Ma, for that wonderful presentation. We are so delighted to hear from you. And we hope that several members of NSBCE will submit their abstracts before the deadline. Thank you so much, Ma, for that opportunity.
We would love that. Thank you.
We hope to see you in China.
We would love to see all of you in China. It's going to be the most amazing event. And
so that we can introduce you to Nigeria-made products.
Yes, I'm sure you can. And it will be amazing, because every country has got its own way of producing equipment, which others can see that they have not known about the needs or the technology available. So it will be the most amazing global platform for you to showcase your technology and your thinking and how you've advanced in your in the clinical engineering platform.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ma. We can't wait to see you. Mr. Emmanuel, over to you, please.
I think maybe we may want to give one or two people opportunity to ask questions if they have any question.
I was going to say I'll stick around for the webinar. So if you want to put your questions in the chat, or if you want to ask after the next presentation, I'm more than happy to take questions if you cannot think anything right now. But as they mentioned in the beginning, I think this is going to go on the YouTube. If you want to post your questions on the YouTube, I will also share my email address. So if you want to write to me directly, you're more than welcome to do so.
All right.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. So if you have any question for her, or as regards the abstract submission, please, you can drop a chat. Thank you. So Dr. Sulaiman Abibola Yaya, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Gloria. Thank you so much, Madam Nata Zaman. That happens to even be my son's name, Zaman. It's a pleasure to be here today. I hope everyone can, okay, let me try to share my screen right about now. Okay, this should be it. Okay, sure. Hope you can all see my screen, kind of. Thank you so much. Nigerian Society for Biomedical Biomedical and Clinical Engineering for inviting me to this August webinar in the month of May. We shall be talking about capacity development in biomedical engineering. I am Suleiman Abimbola Yaya, as already said before, with the Department of Biomedical Engineering, University of Ilorin. Today, we shall be looking at the current state of biomedical engineering in Nigeria, the key stakeholders in capacity development for students, capacity development for practitioners, and institutional strengthening, government's role, society and industry engagement, the way forward, and my own strategic recommendations. Of course, we bridges the gap between medicine and engineering, and we are responsible for everything that happens in the hospital. Why I say everything is even from the construction of the buildings to the houses that takes care of our equipment, to the various equipment used in the hospitals or in taking care of humans. Biomedical engineers are responsible for everything. The doctor can give prescription, can administer drugs, can operate on patient. Without the help of biomedical engineers, that would be grossly impossible. So healthcare is being advanced today thanks to engineers who are putting their blood on the line. And the importance can never be overemphasized. Diagnostic, therapeutic, monitoring, rehabilitation, almost all biomedical engineers fill this role and gap. And that is why, for instance, biomedical engineering is as wide as the number between 0 and 1, just like the number between 0 and 1 is like equal to the entire real numbers or natural numbers. So we are responsible for virtually everything, seeing to patients' development, supporting people who lost their limb. We call that probably prosthetics or orthosis, supporting the lost limbs or body parts, replacing them as well, and all other activities that gives better health to people. I think biomedical engineers are responsible to make things happen. We look at, when we now talk about capacity development, this is empowering people, ensuring that the right set of people have the right set of skills to carry out the right set of activities. You know, they have the systems that empowers them, and of course, institutions that enables them to perform effectively. The current state of biomedical engineering in Nigeria, of course, we all know. We have few accredited biomedical engineering programs, because what we have right now cannot even serve the entire nation. Limited access to modern laboratory and tools. Sorry to say, you know, with all due respect to our employers, we know we can do better. Some students did not even see a suction machine in their departments until probably they go out for industrial attachments before they would see something like that. Low industrial academic collaboration. As far as I know, I've not seen, this is my 11th year in service with the university. Okay, I think I have seen 2 and I initiated 1 where a laboratory requested that my department produce an equipment for them. But we don't get those requests. Even when you go and ask as academians, we don't know, the lockup is always there. So we believe we can do better. Inadequate funding for research and development. Of course, this is a general problem in Africa or in Nigeria, to be very specific, and we know it's something that we have to address. Brain drain and underutilization of talents. Well, I don't know if it is a good news to tell you that at least in my department so far, we've produced more than 25 first class. And apart from the few, maybe I can only count about 3 who are still in this country. Where are the rest? So I think that should be a progress. But of course, we all know that is the country losing so much of our talent to those who really appreciate them. Key stakeholders in capacity development. Well, we will start from the first, which are the students. The students the pipeline of the future innovation. They are the reason we are all in business. And like the Yorubas, we always say, when you worship in a shrine and you chase the children away from that shrine, just give it time. That shrine will no longer exist. If we do not have students who are willing and supported to study biomedical engineering the way it should be, we wouldn't have a profession in the next few years. So practitioners, we need continuous development. And for institutions, universities and hospitals, and our regulatory bodies, these people play important role in developing biomedical engineers for the nation. Government, our infrastructure has to be top-notch. We have to have policies that enable people to produce and enable them to stay, not policies that drives them all away. You know, there is a saying now currently in the universities, the lecturers in our universities are either one leg in and one leg out, or they are waiting to go completely. And we know if you want to destroy a country, you don't need to go there with guns. Just destroy the academic institutions. You know, now I bet you if the University of Ilorin or whatever university advertise to get a lecturer in biomedical engineering, you might not find a first class putting in for that job. This used to be the jobs that the first class wants to do or we are willing to do. But today, probably, even the true ones, maybe some, who are willing to use it as stepping stone. This should be the destination, not a stepping stone. Then we talk about our society and our industry. These are the biggest stakeholders. They are the beneficiaries of every activity that goes on in the classroom, in the developmental processes, in our hubs, and in our training institutions. And of course, investors will make profits when you have people who are well built for the industry. Now, capacity development for students. Let's look at what we need to do and what are the opportunities available for the students. Of course, curriculum have to be updated. We cannot teach tomorrow's hunters the skills of day before yesterday. We need to update our curriculum. We need to get this curriculum right. We need to know where the future is going. How many curriculum, how many, do we discuss the current things that affect the world? Today, we are talking about cybersecurity, in biomedical engineering. Are we having that discourse in our classroom? Are we talking about additive manufacturing? Are we talking about AI? All these technologies, where are they in the pages of our curriculum? What kind of programming language are students learning? What are they doing with it? So we believe our curriculum cannot just be Fortran, QBasic, and those programming basics of yesterday's. We need to do things that are applied and functional and that will lead to greater outcome. Access to laboratory. Like I said earlier, most universities do not even have functional laboratory. Students cannot see even, ultrasound machine is a no-go area in most schools. A CT scan, of course, that one, you only see the picture. X-ray, do we have them? Even if you don't have the working one, do you have the one that students can see and identify the parts? So it is not until they go out there before, somebody's looking at this oxygen concentrator. He thinks it's a water filter or whatever, and the rest of it like that. Mentorship, the softwares. Where are the software? The software that our students are exposed to. Do they have the right tools to work? And the internship. Oftentimes, the 6 months, 3 months, 3 months. Is it even enough? That is about the practical training most we get. So how do we even design the curriculum in a way where students can learn the practical and also do the theories in class as they go along? Then mentorship and global exposure. Of course, maybe this part of the world, everybody seems too busy. Even now, I find it appalling that students go for IT and I'm told that they have to pay to those who are supposed to mentor them. Now everybody see them as cash cows. How do we progress with this? We believe as they are even coming, we have the industry have to incentivize them, support them, give them maybe stipends. But unfortunately, the reverse is now the case. Now, for students, we have to explore opportunities for exchange program. In Malaysia, I've seen this happen a lot. At 300 levels, some students will travel out and finish their studies in Japan. How are we doing that? Can we do that exchange program with South Africa? Can we do with Malaysia? Can we do with the United States? Can we do with, competitions? A lot of students, they take this for granted. You need visibility. You need to show the world what you are able to do. We talk about industrial tours and hackathons. Not everything you will be able to see in your classroom. Even most standard hospital cannot afford a CT scan. Now, if you have the opportunity to go to a hospital that have it, you'll be able to see it before you graduate and you can build something around it. So I believe we have to take industrial talk very seriously. And of course, hackathons, when organized, you find situations where you organize training programs for students, you hardly find them. Now, we talk about capacity development for practitioners. The CPD programs, certifications that people will have to do their score points. This point will tell you whether they are relevant in the industry or they are not. Almost all our societies are just societies we all pay money to, and they give you certificate and say, this year, because you have paid, you are a professional, you are a practicing engineer. Is that the only reason? Is our payment the only tool we need to be recognized that we are capable of doing specific work? Research-based practice, it is not just about theory. It is about we bringing out those knowledge, translating them. Today now, we say we no longer want to design or we no longer want to research for researching's sake. We have to research because of the community. As funny as it is, one food that we eat in Western Nigeria today is amala. We don't have the amala grinding machine or making machine from University of Ilorin. We don't have that from Futo. We don't have that from Lasu. Then what are the kind of technology we are trying to develop? What are the technologies we are developing? Today, do we have the Futo or University of Ilorin or University of Maiduguri oxygen concentrator manufactured or produced here? So why are we always just chasing these wide goals? We want to take on big projects, fancy topic, nanoparticle, this, that. Why we cannot even solve basic problems? If China shuts its door today, are we going to produce syringe in this country conveniently? Can we? So digital health and AI literacy. Today, it is look at what is happening right now. We are communicating. I'm in the comfort of our secretariat, and you are wherever you are. We are communicating. This training would have set this organization back, several millions of naira if it were to be conducted physically, and they have to probably pay for the transportation of the guest speakers, the hotel rooms, get the and everybody, the ESCOs and the rest of it like that. But today with technology, we are all having this conversation. So how do we even implement this in our daily life? We know, okay, now we're talking about brain drain. Almost all the specialists we have in this country are no longer there. But today, if somebody suffers a brain tumor in Nigeria, I bet you, where are we getting that person treated? So now with simple facilities, the doctor can be anywhere. And of course, it can have an assistant here. We can have robotic assisted surgery. And, we have the telemedicine opportunity, but we have to bring it about. We don't have to wait. Hospitals can set up projects and you call the academia in. Oftentimes we have one or two challenges. Who are we reporting it to? Where are error logs? Where are they going to? The startup, the mentorships. These are opportunities for us to develop our capacities as practitioners. You yourself, sometimes I tell people it is not about working in a system. It is about owning the system. So what are you trying to own as a biomedical engineer? Will you be repairing suction machine for the rest of your life? What are you going to come up with and say, okay, this is the solution I'm promoting? Find 2 or 3 people who have similar skills, people who don't have the skills that you have, people that have better skills, or the skills that you don't have. You bring yourself together, collaborate on something, and begin to develop something. And that way we believe we can grow. Institutional strengthening. before we talk about capacity building, we have to and we must strengthen our institution. Biomedical laboratories must have basic biomedical equipment that students will see. And when they, like right now, of course, I'm pained that the government who is supposed to do this for federal universities are not doing it the way we expect them to. But what about the private universities? What are they doing? What about the private institutions? Today, even last week, Gloria can bear me witness, I called her up and I asked, please, if there are equipment in your institution you are no longer using, can you help us with it? At least it will help our students to see, what these equipment look like. We've started taking steps in this direction. The department has come up with different kind of projects for students, so we will be able to get this equipment, so the younger ones will be able to interact with them at least while in school. Establish innovation hubs. We should get past the stage where students are asked for projects. You have just, like I tell my students, I say, I don't want your project to work. Don't bring a working project to me. I want to see your Arduino blown. I want to see the fuses blown. I want to see the wires melt because we are working on them by yourself. I don't want something perfect. You just go off the street, pay one man 300 and something thousand, and he gives you project, and you bring it and you score A. And we tell the whole world, this person is an A candidate. Why he cannot even fix a simple fuse? So we believe with the establishment of innovation hubs in our universities, students can actually get their hands dirty. For hospitals, our biomedical engineering units, I remember we attended a program and a lot of people were having this argument like not everybody have biomedical engineers in their institution as hospitals. That is an aberration. It is something that we have to frown about. It's like saying that you have aeroplanes, but there are no pilots. So you can establish hospitals without those who will take care of the equipment, and you will be proud to tell us that there are no people to take care of those equipment, or that department do not even exist. So you would take a mechanic or an electrician to work on what's it called? The theater bed, Now, equipment planning and maintenance. How many of us do this? It is maybe our practice is always breakdown maintenance. We are waiting for it to break down until it is spoiled. You don't touch it. So I think that culture has to change. We must know that we must maintain before before this equipment go. We can have routine maintenance. We can have scheduled maintenance. Of course, predictive. You can tell if this thing is going to fail at a certain point. What is even the recommendation of the manufacturer? You must take that into account. Sorry, please. You must take that into account. Then government rule, policies, enforce equipment standard. Enforce equipment standard. Equipment management guidelines must be available in the nation. And thank God Nigeria is currently taking charge. I think that was where I met great people, great guys of this society when we went for that assignment in Abuja. So I think we must somehow take the bull by the horn as biomedical engineers. The government, we must help them to think. We don't expect until they finish thinking, they'll come back to us and say, hey, have this. How many of us have written position papers anywhere before? What are the steps we even take to make people do things right? I remember in the university, I saw an advert. Dangote says, I want mechanical engineers, I want electrical, I want computer engineers, for employment that the university should supply. The university supplied more than 50 and almost all of them were employed. And I wrote to the HR. I didn't wait to complain and start blaming Dangote all around and say, hey, this Dangote, I wrote to them. There's a department called biomedical engineers, and the graduate to be suitable in safety, in this, in that, and of course, they should also be part of this list you are looking for. I sent it, even though I got a no, but at least I took a step. How many position papers have we written? If some people do not take the step today, we wouldn't have the biomedical charter in the federal ministry. So I think that we must recognize that if government will make policies, we must give them our inputs. Now, we also have recognizing the importance of BME. How do we even recognize that biomedical engineering is important? You know, like me, I tell people something. Fine, we will all say BME is new, BME is new. But with people who are in the industry now, 10, 8 years, trained biomedical engineers, leave those of us who started as something else, you know, because I usually say, my argument is always like, physicists today, they were the bedrock of mechanical engineering. Today, a physicist cannot walk in anywhere and say, I want to take the job of a mechanical engineer. Fine, thanks to the grandfathers of the physicists who contributed to the great works in mechanical engineering, but now the baton has been handed over. Today, we started from other fields, trained biomedical engineers, because it was an interdisciplinary field in so many places, and in so many places it's still run like that. But now you have somebody who is fit, who is now the round peg in the round, available for the round hole. Let them have the opportunity. If you train a president, if he's attending a tech meeting, you will not be attending that meeting. But you take consolation in the fact that you train the president. So that is what we are looking at. It's not challenging anybody, but knowing that, look, if somebody have this kind of skill, this person will be more suitable than somebody who do not. Fine, there are elements. Now, when we talk about training, a lot of people contribute into training somebody, but that doesn't mean they might be. Now, look at the transcripts. How many biology courses did you do? How many physiology courses did you do? You understand? That is first understanding the problem, the people who we are going to be dealing with. To now, the engineering part of it. Because I went for an accreditation and somebody was arguing with me because I told them the health content in their curriculum was not enough. And he said, no, it's enough. I said, I cannot even see human signal. But he thinks the signals from electricity might as well pass for the signals from the human body. You understand? And we had that argument, and somehow I was able to okay, the simple argument remains that if you think they don't need to understand the signal coming out of the human body because they understand signals in electricity, you can as well just give them electrical electronic engineering degree and let them go to the industry and convince them that they are also biomedical engineers. But if you're going to train the biomedical engineers, you must understand the content of the curriculum and know the importance of why those things are important. When I was in school, I didn't do physiology. I didn't do, what's it called, anatomy. I didn't do molecular biology. But most of my students are doing that. And that is the reason I didn't graduate with a biomedical engineering degree. I graduated with a mechanical engineering degree. But at my advanced level, and I did biomechanics, definitely I would have to study the part I was interested in was the part I concentrated on. So if you have somebody who is in equipment, who is learn about this and that, and that's why we always say, if you give an electrical engineer a baby warmer to design, you're probably going to have a baby fryer because he's thinking about the heat, but the biomedical engineers are thinking about the baby. That's just the difference. And it's beautiful to see this, to have this vantage point so you can see everything. Today, when mechanical engineers were left with chairs to design, even the vehicles, look at the chairs, the seats our vehicles come with right now, because we have biomedical engineers who are thinking about ergonomics, who are putting that in mind to design these great products. So we must know the difference, and we must appreciate the importance of BME as a course that brings together almost all the principles in those 3 core engineering, and of course, principles in health. That is mechanical, electrical, computer, and understands health. That is why in some countries, even with a biomedical engineering degree, you can proceed to getting your medical degree certificates. So that is what we must. As a matter of policy, the federal government must know that biomedical engineers, those who genuinely have the certificate, trained as one, would be the one that will take care of our equipment and serve in our hospitals. We must not cut corners. You know, we know Nigeria is so polarized that you can study history and Islamic studies and you'll be the treasury officer in a bank. But this is a health we're talking about. If you want somebody that studies Islamic or Christian religious knowledge to handle your equipment, good. But you continue to have bad equipment management or bad equipment managers. So we must give it to the right people. Then funding, TED fund, grant, scholarship, and you know, we must know that the government has rules to provide fund for students training. I tell you, you know, there are so many things I can't say for the sake of the fact that this is going on air, you know, because it's so funny that a university in 3 or 4 years cannot even get 4 or 5 million naira to equip a biomedical engineering department in 3 or 4 years. So it's so sad. So, and infrastructure, you know, support local equipment manufacturing. So the government must, at least now, you know, with due respect to them, I look at Smedan, they come up with an opportunity to say, if you have tailoring skill, you can just go to a hub where they created and put about 2,000 sewing machines there. All you need to do is pay 15,000 naira in a month, and you can use the sewing machine, use the weaving machine, use the monogram machine, and all for 15,000 naira. And you can take as many orders as you can process, and you sell to. You can see the way they are supporting those, those small businesses. Yeah, you understand. But we must say that empowerment is beyond bead making, cloth making, tie and dye, and the rest of. Create manufacturing, equipment manufacturing hub for us. You know, hinges, we still import hinges. These are jobs that, you know, engineers can set up to do. And of course, but you don't expect me, because I want to manufacture hinges that I will probably sell for 200 naira or 300 naira, to go and buy a lathe machine of about 45 million. But if the government comes and say, okay, you have a lathe machine here, you have a milling machine here, you have a CNC machine here, there's a 3D printer here, you know, there's internet facilities here, you can come in, design any products you want and the rest of it, and you pay just 15,000 naira a month, just like they did for the tailoring as Medan, that would be a fantastic opportunity. And this is the role we want government to play. Society and industry. For the society, please let's continue public awareness on BME's role. You know, this is very, very important. I remember I was privileged to have this discussion with the Kwara students, Kwara Polytechnic students, you know, thanks to Engineer Lekon Ahmed Kazim Jatao. He's also part of this talk, you know. In fact, immediately I sent that to the platform of engineers, he tried to broadcast it, and I really appreciate, thanks to my brother Yusuf Larry Busari, who is also here as well. This can, you know, I remember the first time we had this lecture about the opportunities for mechanical engineers, you know, and we were breaking down the various opportunities for mechanical engineers. And we got to that point where we were talking about aerospace, talking about robotics, talking about biomedical. And of course, since I have bias for biomedical engineering, I stayed there and exhausted my time on that point. And I was lucky that the former registrar of Koren was in attendance, and he contributed, telling me that, wow, that was really a fantastic job, because before now, he was even arguing the fact that why do we need so many branches of engineering? But the subject was clarified after we went through that session together. And that's to tell you that, you know, people might have this little kind of, you know, like they have the right to their bias. There are some people that believe that engineering should just be at least 4 or 5 maximum. You know, is that you're an electrical engineer? Any other engineering coming from that field should just be electrical engineer. You can say you are telecoms, you are computer, you are this. All of you are electrical engineers. If you say you are biomedical, whatever, is either you in mechanical or you are an electrical. That's the way they believe that should be. But you know, we can, as we give more talks, they will understand us more better. Public-private partnership, investment models should be looked at. You want to train students, you can bring, for instance now, look at the opportunities of having a prosthetic center that manufactures prosthetics for people in your university. Now the students will have opportunities to learn in that center, The center will have opportunity to use those students as free laborers or cheap laborers to produce those materials, and they can sell to the public. You know, when you have diagnostic centers, maybe centered around the school or just nearby, the school can partner these people and say, okay, bring your diagnostic center in, you know, you charge as normal. Today, we are doing that, even though it is wholly owned by the university, in the department of optometry. Now you hear the university staff, they are even bringing people from town to say, don't take glasses anywhere. Our optometry department does give glasses. You go there and you get the best of service. Alumni support in labs, mentorship and employability. All these are what society should continue to do. And we have to keep this engagement going. You know, for me, I just want to share some success stories with us. You know, today, the University of Ilorin have solar-powered laboratory where we believe that power should not interrupt learning. But we didn't achieve this by calling the federal government to. We did this looking inward. What kind of project are our students churning out? Are they projects that we just have to trash? This is headache we face as a department. How do we get it solved? We looked at the model of, okay, fine. I've been to a clinic before. I was opportune to travel one day, and a friend of mine had an accident. You know, when we visited the medical center where they took them to in the local government, they were using torchlight on this patient. That shows that even provision of solar power is enough intervention. Just imagine how many of our hospitals have, you know, uninterrupted power supply. You know, and we had to look inward and get a solar-powered laboratory and eventually even powering the department. You know, exploring industry partnership. We never knew it was possible, you know, by just talking to our neighbors, the University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital, the University of Kwara State University Teaching Hospital, headed by Engineer Larry, the Department of Biomedical Engineer, and thank God the HOD Mechanical, HOD Works of that same mechanical department of that same institution is here, Engineer Leko Ahmed. You know, we talk to them, please, if you have equipment you want to dispose, maybe auction and the rest of it, and you can give us for cheap or for free, we'll be willing to take. And since then, in fact, I can't wait to share the videos of some of our, you know, laboratory with you. You know, to even having ultrasound machine in the department, I know Gloria will be very surprised. You know, so at least our students should see what an ultrasound machine looks like. What are the parts? You claim you are biomedical engineers, you fix these things, but you have never seen them until you go to you go for IT and you go and embarrass the entire department. So research on local needs. This, you know, for instance, we begin to take survey before you can come and convince me that you want to do a project. I want to see those who want to use it, who are going to be the user. You understand me? So, and then community impact projects. Community impact projects. We know that we are, as a university, our mandate is to teach, to conduct research, and community development. So if we don't have people we are impacting, then our research do not go anywhere. So for us, we try as much as possible. For instance, if you look at Kwara, we have some of our crippled guys who use their hands to push themselves on a kind of I can't call that a hoverboard. They're made by themselves, you know, and they push. And now we were able to take that, you know, motorize it, put battery, put motor, and with a joystick, you can just drive yourself around. You know, we show them this solution and they are eagerly waiting for us to hit the market with it. So those are the things we are talking about. In fact, right now we are discussing one of the Kwara senators to sponsor at least about 200 of those devices so it can be shared just the way they like sharing wheelbarrows and sharing in motorcycles. Then you can share these ones to those Paralympians, and you know, it's something that is getting traction right now. We looked at the weaving machine that is used locally, you know, the sedentary work that has been done. We take away the leg clutching and the up and down movement, and we were able to replace that with motor, and somehow we have increased the productivity. You know, we brought that solution out during the Africalis conference, and it's there for exhibition. And we're still going to exhibit that during the forthcoming FETICON 2025 That's bid for June 1st to 5th. So I hope you are all going to be there as well. So we'll see some of this solution. So the way forward, the strategic recommendation, national capacity development strategy. And this, I must commend the federal government through the NUC. They've taken a step because today now we have what we call the outcome-based education. For every courses you are teaching, we want to see what impact that course is going to make in the society. What impact the course you are teaching or you are taking, what impact will it make in the society? That's what we're looking at right now. So you can't just teach a course, then what laboratory is attached or which laboratory is attached to that course and who's going to teach it? So that way we ensure that students are coming out with the right skills they need. You know, and we've said, what's this with these biomedical or mechanical electrical engineers coming out of the institutions? There's no skills on circuitry. They cannot, you know, even construct simple circuits or even build them. You know, there's no skills on programming. You know, today coding is no longer, you know, it's no longer, it's not like, it's no longer negotiable. It's like, in those days, you have typists that type your document. Today, you all use Microsoft Word. That's the same way we must all understand codes as engineers. You understand what I'm trying to say? You must understand codes. So we must come together to see that we develop along this line, you know, design. We should go beyond the point where we carry these boards around. There are softwares that we can use, SolidWorks, Fusion 360, and a number of them. Students will be able to create their solutions themselves from the comfort of their room, using their own laptops and the rest of it like that. So industrial academic clusters, this is something that I really wish every institution will implement. University of Ilorin is doing great in this direction. And I thank God that Dr. Apenkun is one of the leading HOD who, you know, is also on this call. You know, leading HOD in the University of Ilorin is the HOD of Agri-Camp of System Engineering. I remember they brought a letter to the Society of Engineers in Ilorin to tell us that they need us to give them members of the society who will be having meeting with them as a department to check the courses and things the offerings they are giving to the students. And this is the way to go. Multidisciplinary collaboration. We no longer have to work as island. We have people who are doing great in various fields. You want to do meta-analysis today. You probably, okay, now you're doing a questionnaire kind of research. For engineers, you don't analyze questionnaires. You can't do that as good as a social scientist will do. Why don't you just bring a social science, the scientists in that research? You know, if they need to carry out an experiment, they have to bring you in. If a civil engineer is constructing, let me say he wants to make, is trying to make a tool, he probably doesn't know how to operate a lathe machine. A mechanical engineer will be handy to help him in that direction. You know, so when we are building, we are not just building in isolation. You are there collaborating with medical doctors, you know, irrespective of the discipline. We were able to talk with people in the neuroscience department, and we built them 2 machines last year, the rotarod machine, and of course, the pole climbing apparatus. You know, those were fantastic work done by our students for the department. And we are still on the testing phase because they've acquired one from abroad, and we're going to test that pole climbing apparatus with the one we made in our department. And this is how we can collaborate and win together. Then support tech parks and innovation hubs. And thank God, the University of Ilorin is leading in this direction. And of course, thanks to Professor Daniel Kita from Ethiopia, who was here with us for the past, he spent 10 days with us. He just left last week, Friday. And we are developing a technology park where the idea I shared the last time, we can actually exploit it in the university. You want to create a product, you don't have to acquire a milling machine, a lathe machine, whatever machine, 3D printer, and the rest of it. There will be parks that will have this in abundance, and you can just walk there and create your prototype. And you will be here, and you will be designing for people even elsewhere in the world. So those are the things we are looking at. So call to actions for students. I must say, thank you so much for being with me up to this level. And what I just need to encourage you to do is to learn. You know, pick an aspect, know something, you know, research and innovate. You know, oftentimes we deceive ourselves with this, like, there's no time, I don't have time to learn, the courseworks are bored, they are much and all. But when you develop yourself, you are the best for it. And for we as practitioners, I must encourage us, share, train, and lead. Please, if students are coming for IT, don't charge them. Encourage your institutions, whoever is in charge, let them, support them. And the institutions, leaders who are here, I believe investing in this capacity will really help us. Let us get latest lab equipment, support universities to carry out great programs, to carry out great research. Then government, we need the enabling policy. We have to imagine sometimes they will acquire a machine or an equipment or a device from inception to installation to even disposal. There's no biomedical engineer involved in that process. That must change and that must be stopped. And for society, let's keep singing the praises of our local engineers. Let's support local engineers to do great jobs to help this country. And at this point, I want to say, without mising word, that BME is the key to Nigeria's health future. If our health sector will survive, then we must, in every sense, take care of our biomedical engineers and biomedical engineering as a profession. Capacity development is necessary, is a necessity. We must organize programs that bring us up to speed. Thank God for the Fetal Step Up that we operate in the University of Ilorin today. At a point, we did a training on Microsoft Word. As cheap as it looks, like everybody uses it so perfect or so well, everybody just pretend to use it. After the training, almost all of the 82 participants confessed that they are just being, like their eyes are just open to the possibility that they hold in their hands. We organize a training at a time for Google tools, even sending emails. I won't lie to you, a friend of mine had lost a job before because she could do great presentation, but because she doesn't know how to reply email, when to reply email, where to use autoresponder, and the rest of it like that. So this little knowledge, we can organize training on that. How do even biomedical engineers write memos? How do you claim your money when you travel? All these are skills, publication skills, communication skills. Like my Oga rightly said, we might be good in what we do, but to write the reports, how good are we? So let's have sessions where we can learn about all this. Let's unlock Nigerians' BME potentials together. Thank you so much for listening. Over to you, madam.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful presentation. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and for sharing your insight with us. We really appreciate you. I can say it over and over again that I am one of the lucky person to have been mentored and advised by Dr. Sulaiman Abimbola Yaya from 100 level to 500 level. It was such a great honor and privilege because I can boast and say it any day, anytime, that Dr. Sulaiman Abimbola Yaya is well versed and is knowledgeable. So now it's question and answers in the chat box. As I announced earlier, directly you can signify by raising your hand. Okay, Mr. Ima, over to you, sir.
So thank you very much to our both speakers. I have three questions for each of the speakers. So our first speaker, if she's still here, with respect to the conference coming up in China, I realized that if we can't attend our paper, we can also send our paper or present our papers. So I want to ask, how do we present those papers if we are unable to attend? Are we presenting online, or probably we just only need to send the presentations down, send the papers down and somebody will have to present them all? I think maybe she will need to shed more light on that when it's time for her to respond. Then over to Dr. Two questions I have for Doctor. With respect to the university role, I don't know, what do you think university should do to connect students with industries? What are the, or specifically, what is the University of Ilorin doing, connecting or bridging the gap between students and different biomedical engineering industries across Nigeria? That is number one. Then number two, you did make mention of the fact that we have issues with equipment for learning, especially for student learning. The question is, how do you think this can be addressed, considering the reality on ground that the federal government is not releasing much funds to you? Do you think maybe at NUC level, NUC need to up the requirements for establishing biomedical engineering departments such that if a university, for them to gain accreditation, they must have at least this equipment you're talking about, not the minimal standard of if you don't have this, if you don't have that, okay, you can still open. Because I think by so doing, the quality of the engineers we are recruiting will be very low. We are recruiting low quality engineers if there are no standard equipment to train them. So the second question is, are you going to trade with getting more universities at the expense of the quality, or how do you strike the balance between the quality and, let's get more university accredited, even with the situation of we not being able to afford, which is the reality on ground, that the government is not able to afford most of these equipment or most of these stuffs. So that is my second question. I don't know if you get the second, if you understand the second question very well, or probably you can just react to it. Thank you very much.
Yes, over to you, sir. And Madam Zano.
I think it's not. I'll come in first, maybe. That's a very good question. I'll get clarification on that, and I'll come back to the madam to pass it on to the members. But as far as I know, any author whose paper has been accepted receives a 50% discount on registration fee. But I understand that the challenge is about personal attendance to the conference. So let me take that away. I think the other way is to get your paper published in the journal itself. So that's probably, if you are not able to present it, at least it gets published in the journal and everybody can benefit from it. But I'll get full clarity on that and then share it with the NSBCE to share with the members the answer.
All right, thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you so much, Gloria. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel, for that question, or Engineer Emmanuel. I'm really grateful. Well, the second question, I will not answer because you know that answer better than I do. We are in this country, and well, I don't even know how to react to that. You don't even have enough, and you are going to create more universities. I don't know what our governments are thinking, but I think probably they have their own thoughts. That is another. But for the first, one thing I do know is this. There are a lot of things competing for government funding, but government must learn to give priorities to some things. The Malaysians that we sing today, the Japanese, the Chinese, we are all meticulous with their strategy. I know my supervisor, for an instance, when he finished his PhD, he had a laboratory to himself. And after that, he trained a master's student. After that master's student, Then I joined and he trained me. Now, the load cell I used to even acquire force data, for forces of impact, was about 20 million naira. I didn't buy that. The department gave it to me. The 3D printers I used, the department gave it to me. Those are people who are serious about research. So, but for us, one thing I just want to say, it is not all bad. We should know that sometimes we must use what we have to get what we want. Oftentimes, too, our universities, we are full of waste. You churn out like 100 students every year. Ask them what is the functional, even the product from your own students cannot be an input for training. So definitely, I think we are getting things wrong. We are getting things wrong. And there are so many things that have to change, especially with accreditation. Of course, for me, one thing I did that I know that really helped the system was there was a time where we just had this influx of people who came from some universities, sorry to say Kogi State, some polytechnic or college of monotechnics and the rest of it. And almost all of them, distinction, that we could not even give admission, this direct entry admission to other people, because these people came with distinction. But unfortunately, what I just did at the gate was ask them, where is the accreditation of this institution? Who accredited them? I look at the NBTE website, their names are not there. Then I called the HOD, okay, give me the number of your HOD. These children, they started crying. It is not crying matter. It is the fact that you have attended an institution that is not accredited. And those students were denied admission. In fact, there was one that happened with Lagos State. I think either University of Lagos or Lagos State University. They had an institution training biomedical engineers, and they had another one training diploma biomedical engineers. I don't even know how they did that arrangement. But, because the two are mixed together, if you're not very careful, you will not know which one is which. But I just really dug deeper, and I was able to establish that the one that gave this certificate to this lady was not a national diploma, it was a diploma. And definitely we denied them admission. And to the best of my knowledge now, that center has been closed up because people are no longer attending the center. These things, they somehow maybe survive when we give them relevance. As soon as we kill it as a start, we'll be able to enjoy it. Because at the time I heard that there was one association also going about to accredit most of these institutions, and I wonder how. I was invited for 3 accreditation programs. Only one passed, 2 did not. One was even home and dry. Knowing that I was part of the team, they thought, of course, they are going to get it. That was offer. You understand? But when I went, they practically have nothing to train biomedical engineers. You can try, if they try very well, they train mechanical or electrical engineers, they're not biomedical engineers. And we let them know this, there's no fighting about this. This is just progress. You don't own the institution, tell your stakeholders, you don't have what it takes to, and of course, you have to retake the accreditation program again. We went to another institution, which I don't want to name because it's a private university, and the same thing happened. But when I went to University of Benin Teaching Hospital, in fact, I was inspired to go back to my department and change some things. You understand? Because there, apart from having the carcass of maybe X-ray, having C-arm, having suction machine, name them, they still now take this student once a week to the main teaching hospital. What kind of training could be more or better than that? So I think if we want to do these things, we have to be serious about it. The government should be ready to invest. But in the event like we find ourselves where we are, let's all get creative. When I mean creative, I mean before we got a suction machine in my department, our student had made a suction machine first. Today, we don't have a motorized wheelchair, bought for us by the government. Our students had made that. So definitely, if there were no opportunity to see a motorized wheelchair before they graduate, as long as they are graduating and leaving us with one, those who are coming after them will be able to see that and train with it. And that is the concept we use right now. And today, I can say we are flourishing a bit with some of these equipment. I remember there was a time we gave assignment for like finger replacement, where you have to make some fingers using any kind of materials you want. And students came up with different ideas. So sometimes we need to tax our students, well, they can produce this thing. And when accreditation team came, in fact, one screen that say, where when I get all these fingers? Meaning, where did you get all these fingers? And they started snapping picture. At that moment, we knew we've gotten accreditation because they've seen what they've not found in most biomedical engineering departments. So sometimes, we must reflect what we represent. Today, I won't lie to you, I have, with the support of my HOD, thanks to engineer Dr. Sani Saminu, canceled these unproductive projects in the department. It's better that we bind 20 students together, solve a problem, maybe get an equipment that, instead of wasting the money and you say you are fabricating things that will not even, and everybody wants to do vital sign monitor. That's not what the only part of engineering we are here to do. And today we are having productive things in the department. Some days very soon. After this set, I will invite you for a tour of the department and you wouldn't believe what you can see. But I'm telling you something, we don't have to wait for government support. We as a department too must reach out. We must talk to our people in the industry. And we have started that. Although we are weak in that, but now we have started. And Gloria can bear me witness. I called her last week, begging her for the carcass of, some of the equipment. And she told me the bureaucratic process to follow. Nonetheless, my HOD is working on it. The same thing happened with UITH. Even if it is hospital bed and the students can see it, work with it, it's going to help them. Some of us have not even seen, what's it called? LINAC. I don't know if anybody have seen LINAC here in Nigeria. Do we have a center that even have it? Linear accelerator. Do we have it? Have we seen it?
Yes, Luke has.
So now, if we do know those that have this kind of equipment, we can organize industrial tour and we all go and then we can see some of this equipment. I hope this answers your question and I hope that we can build this. We won't complain. That's one thing I refuse to do. I used to tell my students, we are not complaining. I thank God Hiba is part of this chat as well. She, of course, Gloria, Hiba was the one that sheltered all the records you guys left. From Habib to Prosperity to you to whoever to Amma, Iba shattered it all, and she's part of these charts too. And it's good that she's learning the rope. And it's really great to have fantastic students like that. Who we are able to. Don't be discouraged about what this system can present to you. Just get focused on what you can give back to the system. And today, in fact, I was so marveled that even the younger ones are taking our projects for exhibition. Even while she had left the institution. So that's what we are looking at, a scenario where what you lack as a department, you can even create projects around it and get it. So you don't have to wait for the government 100%. So even if it's one project you will do to have let me say, okay, fine, have like 3 students work, or as 30 students work on ultrasound machine or X-ray machine. And if this one could create this part, this one could create, and you can buy some parts and you put them together, you have X-ray machine in the department. The coming students can see it instead of 30 students all doing, vital sign monitors and BMI machines. Thank you. With all due respect to everyone who have done that anyway.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Iba, thank you so much for attending our webinar. So over to the next question, Mr. Habib Yusuf, over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Gloria. Thank you, Dr. Yaya. Thank you always. We are always proud of you, sir. We're always happy to have you as our boss. Sometimes some of us feel intimidated by what you are doing now after we left, but at the same time, we are always very happy that something great is going on. So yeah, you mentioned a lot of things. You talked about students now working on 3D printing projects and all, which is very interesting, But a problem with 3D printing that I'm aware of is power, and we have this problem in Nigeria right now, like we don't have constant power supply. So, which if during the process of printing, a particular, maybe there is power outage, it could cause problem for the printing, So how are you currently addressing this problem? Are you relying on alternative power supply, or I don't know, how do you do this currently?
Thank you so much, Engineer Habib. Doctor to be by the grace of God, this is one of my little mentors, and I really always love his energy, and of course, we're still going to do that great thing with 3D printing. Well, to even say this, we have gone beyond the era of, I'm working on a 3D printing project, I'm going to one center to go and print, and then I'm bringing a finished product to you. What have you learned? So now we've changed to, even at 400 level, every student must know how to design, and you come to the department with your laptop and do that design, and you'll be assessed. So now I can tell you categorically that 100% of our 400 level students now design their product themselves, 100%. Because apart from the fact that they have to do it, it is also part of their 403 module now, design, biomedical engineering design. And now we have now got past the stage where, okay, fine, if students are spending 200,000, 300,000 on projects, if you guys are going to work on 3D printing, then we can bind like 20 students together, get the 3D printers that you are going to use right now. So we're going to see those things come out live. You are controlling the system and it's working. And now back to your question, how do we do the power? Like we say, and I say, we won't wait for the government. The first thing we did was, some years ago, we initiated a project. We call it the Smart Solar Clinic. And through that, students did that project. They made a model clinic that can be exported. In fact, at the time, we were thinking about donating it to a community. But now, why would we go and donate the solar to a community? Why even we, the department, we are even suffering over lack of energy as well? So we kept the battery. We got a battery from that, got some 6 panels or thereabout from that project. The next set came, about 6 students got together again, did solar electrophoresis machine. And while they did that, they also got a battery to power their system. That battery became 2. And I tell you, with those 2 batteries, we were able to give about 3 kVA power to the laboratory. And that even translates to the department having energy. So with this, we believe we are on a very strong footing with our printer, because for now, in fact, our generator is bad right now because we don't use them any longer. We are purely green department. So we don't have no fear, we don't entertain fear about how our students are going to do this. We'll be happy to get more support, maybe to expand the capacity of this power, because when we need to use things like the printer, almost every other thing will have to be shut down. We recognize this, and those are the limitations. But for now, we are solving that problem using the renewable energy. But the one we have right now, we do not have that capacity to meet the yearning. But the good thing now is universities are on band A, which means we enjoy relatively stable power supply about 16 hours every day. And that is the little we are managing with. For now, until we get bigger, maybe 17 kilowatts solar power, which will give us peace of mind. But now we are managing around it. And we are not expecting something perfect from them yet, but we just want to see them interact with those machines and create products from
Thank you so much, sir.
them.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, so Engineer Babalola Moshood, over to you, sir. Engineer Babalola Moshood, are you still with us? Okay, so Engineer Otobong Esara, please, over to you.
Okay, good evening, all. Doctor, thank you for the wonderful presentation this evening. Definitely, you have really expand and touched some critical aspects in biomedical engineering field. Please, my question is, what is your best advice to those that did not study, that did not offer biomedical engineering in school, in their institution basis, maybe they are doing their first degree, and they are now offering the services in the biomedical field. Now, I'm talking about people that study electrical, electronic, mechanical, and all that. What is your best advice? Because we are talking about maintaining standards and the proficiency when um, when a contract is being offered, or a biomedical engineer is being assigned to inspect a certain facility. So what is your best advice to such engineers? And because such engineers in professional bodies are called affiliate members and others. So please, what is your best advice to them? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Engineer Ottoban. I think, well, my best advice to anyone who wants to learn biomedical engineering at postgraduate level is to take a master's degree in biomedical engineering. And of course, recognizing the fact that there is advantages, there are disadvantages. I won't lie to you, you understand? I'm always built for debates, kind of. It's like sometimes when we want to puncture the biomedical engineers, we say you are the jack of all trade, master of everything for the sake of this presentation. But, so it's good when you have a background somewhere, maybe in electrical engineering or mechanical engineering, and you are coming to the biomedical field. But coming to the biomedical field at postgraduate level, leverage on your existing skill. You cannot be coming from mechanical engineering now and say you want to go into imaging. It won't be easy. You would need to do a lot of catching up. I didn't say it's impossible. Leverage on your existing skill. Of course, I know, there's money in, what's it called? Equipment servicing. There's money in equipment procurement and the rest of it. But when I needed to continue my journey in biomedical, I went for biomechanics. I went for biomaterials. You understand? So now, leveraging on my skills, I know a biomedical engineer trained that will beat me in biomaterial synthesis or beat me in additive manufacturing will do more than I have done. Because for me, I have this opportunity behind me to have learned greatly about material, about the structure, about the manufacturability of most material, about, the 4 constraints that hold the materials for you to select a material. Those 4 standard constraints that always come to mind is something that I'm built with. So you have to consolidate in that line. You understand? So if you are coming from electronics background, and saying you are going to bioinstrumentation, that's a very good fit. If you are going to clinical, that is a very good fit. But you will know that you have to do more. Like when I was doing my PhD, I used to tell people it's like I was doing double PhD. Apart from learning the biomedical principles, I have to be learning the mechanical translations. You understand me? Because you have to do tests. And those tests, there is no biomechanical test. It is mechanical test as far as I'm concerned. So you must learn stress strain curve, understand them, just like a mechanical engineer who wants to apply it to a rod is learning it. But now I'm applying it to bones. So now I will now learn the features of bones, type of bones, and the rest of it, conical bones, almost all type of bones you have to also learn. So you should leverage on your strengths to know the angle. If you are coming from a computer engineering perspective into biomedical engineering, and you are going straight into biomechanics, you might find it very difficult. You understand? But if you are coming from computer engineering angle and you are coming to bioinformatics, you can see the fit. So biomedical has this so much wide field that you can enjoy. You're coming into genomics. And okay, where are you at what point? Okay, I'm staying at this level of data analysis and the rest of it like that. I'm staying at the point of recognition. I'm staying at this will help you. So let's leverage our strengths. We can come into biomedical engineering at postgraduate level with most institutions in the world. That's how it's done. In fact, someone wants you to have this native engineering knowledge somewhere first before pursuing biomedical engineering. And we have seen it even now. For instance, there's one of my students, Jesu Lulu, I don't know if he's part of this chat. You understand, Emmanuel? He did biomedical engineering with us, went to Lagos or Ibadan, he was in Lagos, did biomedical engineering masters, and today he's in Canada doing mechanical engineering PhD. Why mechanical engineering? Because mechanical engineering is hosting the projects on brain-computer interface, which lies in area of his interest. So for us, it is not just about this big name, biomedical engineer and the rest of it. It is about the function, the role we really play in. For those coming from the electrical electronics part, coming into equipment will be a bit difficult, But of course, like a marketing here, University of Ilorin is starting our master's program. Next session in 3 or 4 months, we shall be starting by Monday. It will be online. Anyone can choose it. But one thing we are sure is this: irrespective of the background you are coming, with, you might need to do more. We will recommend more courses for you if you are not a native biomedical engineering graduate. So you're probably going to find yourself do some physiology and anatomy, even at postgraduate level, why some that came with biomedical engineering degree are not doing that course. Because I've seen it in Malaysia. A friend of mine did food science and he came to do chemical engineering PhD. Nobody stops him. But at a point, they recommended some courses for him. Okay, go and learn about this air quality, this, that, and then make it. And he graduated with his chemical engineering degree. So I don't see the problem, but the best fit is if you can do it again, all over again, that would be really fantastic. But if you cannot, join it at postgraduate level and it will be fine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So our last question, yes, is from Mr. Abdulafiz Adeyemo. He says, in what way can the industry help improve student output, especially during their industrial training? I think you've said it before in your slide, but you can just help us rephrase it again.
You see, I won't lie to you. The best thing that would ever happen to you is to have your industrial training somewhere that really empowers you. And that is what I'm begging and advocating, that those institutions that really help them should do well, not to chase them away. They've paid fees in the university, coming to pay fees for IT again. It's something I've not heard before, but it's happening because it's biomedical engineering. You understand? I heard now, to mention name, University of Ibadan Teaching Hospital or thereabout, they have to go and pay 150,000 somewhere. I don't know. It's becoming a federal institution kind of thing. I don't know, Gloria, if that happens in your own institution as well. Please, you guys should fight this thing and resist it. It's not a good way to discourage our younger ones to come into this field. You understand? It's already too hard out there in the institution. We cannot make it harder. You see, why we cannot discount this IT or industrial training or industrial attachment or internship is the fact that most of these students have not seen some of these apparatus before. The only opportunity that they will have to even interact with them will be during their industrial attachments. And that is why that training is very, very important. We can never discount it. And I must recognize the effort of Engineer Babalola Moshood, who is currently the chairman of Nigerian Institution of Mechanical Engineers in Kwara State. He has organized different tours for students, getting them to interact with most of these mechanical machines. And even the last one they did with 7-Up, a lot of students took advantage to learn 1 or 2 things. So we cannot sit in our classrooms and think, like some of my students yesterday, we had this conversation. They wanted to do their project and they were like, I have found out the prices. And I say, how? They say online. I chase them out. I say, I want to see your pictures in every vendor, in the shop of every vendors in Ilorin. So that is it. We cannot be sedentary and think we are going to learn. Yorubas will say, Oririn Lorewa. That means on the road that you meet goodies. So go out there, go to those companies. You go and see new things. Even when we go for accreditations, when I went to Kenyatta University in Kenya, I saw machines that when I came home, I told my students, we have to replicate. So that is the importance of moving from one place to another. So students who have just been in the classroom, they have nothing much to offer other than the theories we are teaching them. But when you have the opportunity to do an internship in a very good company, it's always the best. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. So, Madam Nata, are you still with us? Sorry, sir. I will have your question shortly.
I am, yes.
Yeah, Madam Nata, you have a question. Is accommodation provided for participants during the conference, ma'am?
We have negotiated a good price on accommodations, and we can list all the relevant hotels with different price range, where it's in the vicinity of the Congress. So we'll put all of those information on our website shortly, where the hotels are located and the price for each accommodation.
Discounts for people coming from NSBC?
We are still negotiating the discounts with our Chinese colleagues who are helping us do the Congress. I think once we've got the information about the hotels and the prices, we will put those on our website.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you.
So, Engineer Babalala Moshood, over to you, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much. First of all, let me appreciate the immediate past chairman of the Nigerian Institution of Mechanical Engineers, Engineer Dr. Suleiman Abibola Yaya, who has been doing very wonderfully well in the area of mechanical engineering and biomedical engineering. I am looking at interventions. The support of the HOD, the pioneer HOD engineer, Dr. Suleiman Yaya Bimbola for biomedical engineering, and the current HOD. Their effort is well appreciated. In the area of this intervention, we should look at how government policy can key in biomedical engineering in the area of sponsorship and support. We also have in the area of sponsorship, UNESCO, World Health Organizations. They too can key in to help. Even within TED Fund too can get something done. Expertise, Engineer Dr. Ayaz Suleiman and all other expertise, they have started the work. They have set the ground rolling, and they are putting much effort to see that biomedical engineering have its place among the Committee of Engineering in the world. So, in the area of government policy and intervention, I think those are the areas I am looking at that can be dwelled in to see how far we can go. Then in the area of marketing students projects and policy, during the immediate program we just did, World Engineering Day celebration, which was organized on March 4, I tried to make a case that all projects that are being done by students at the end of the day should not find their way in the market. You get to the market, you start seeing different good projects that are even sellable abroad. And I want to appreciate Engineer Dr. Ayaz Suleiman and his team in the Department of Biomedical Engineering, including the HOD, that their own projects, they continue to work on it, and then continue to see that their own projects see the face of the day globally. Their projects as projects of standards, and these projects are projects that we see that can go very far and can compete globally too. So for other projects that still need some patch up or some work to do, this project should not be allowed to just remain like that. It can be a case study for other upcoming students to work on it and see a complete face of that project, and the project should be beneficial to humanity. Take for instance, a motorized project that is mechanically operated can be changed to solar energy. Now also, in the area of the creativity, I score the biomedical engineering high during the OBE program that was done last year. I was part of the team that was invited. Engineer Ahmed Kazim Jato was there. Engineer Shaba Mustafa was there. They are all mechanical engineers. Engineer Busari too was there. We should look at how creativity can enhance student performance. The biomedical engineer has been doing very, very well. I want them to continue that feat, and I want them to continue to improve on that, because beginning is not the result, but how far we can go and how far can we justify the progress and contribution of biomedical engineering in the face of humanity to make life simple and to make our living a better one. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for that insight. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate you. And we sincerely appreciate you for attending our webinar, sir. So on this note, I want to urge each and every one of us, especially the practicing biomedical engineers, let's try and cultivate the let's try and develop interest in individual capacity development, because capacity development is something that as an individual you need to be interested in for you to be able to achieve whatever you want to achieve. So I will urge each and every one of us to take capacity development serious. Thank you so much. So do we have any other question, or there's no other question, so we can. Taima, do you have a question?
I think what I actually wanted to contribute is the fact that we've had so many testimonies of projects from students in the University of Ilori and other parts of the country. And I think this conference that is coming up is a good avenue for us to showcase this project we'll be talking about. So I will want to encourage Doctor and the students, other students that are actually doing this project. Let's see how we can collaborate and come up with sharing this story to the world via this conference that is coming up in China. At least if we're unable to attend, we can also send our abstracts, and of course, we send this whole story to the world to also know of what our students are doing back then, Uni Lori. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gloria.
Yes.
I think Engineer Emmanuel, I really appreciate that, and we're going to work on something. I think Engineer Lucci talked to me, and I think we're working on something, and we should be able to come up with something. At least we must get a paper into that China's conference. And I want to use this opportunity to appreciate all my colleagues. You can see the support from the mechanical engineering and Gloria. You can see, right? You can see even my chairman is here, the secretary of the association is here,
I can see, sir.
is here, the vice chairman of Nigerian Institution of Engineers in Ilorin is here, Engineer Ahmed Kazim Jatau. The secretary of NMEC is also here. In fact, the deputy rector of Kwara State Polytechnic, Engineer Abdul Qadri, was also on this call. I don't know if he has left. You know, it just took me to just like share it. Immediately I got the link from Madam Oluchi, and I really appreciate their support for coming. And of course, seeing Abdul Qadri Onileji in this call, you know, is one person that I'm very, very scared to talk when he's present, because I don't want to make mistake. He's a thorough professional. I must really respect that, and I really appreciate, and I appreciate my brother, Engineer Damusa, who has always been, you know, sorry, sir, I have to disturb you a bit. So I really appreciate you guys all for all the support. And Engineer Daffy, thank you so much. I think talking me into believing in this society was a different ball game. Of course, I give the credit to Habib and Gloria at a point in time. They even had private meeting with me, but they couldn't get me down until I met Engineer Daffy and Engineer Lucci, and the story changed. And I hope, I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for having me in this session. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much to our speaker and our guest speaker, Madam Zaman. We really appreciate you. We sincerely appreciate you for taking out your time to speak with us today. We appreciate you. And Dr. Laima Bimbola Yaya, thank you so much for that inspiring presentation. We sincerely appreciate you, sir. And we hope to see you in our next webinar, sir. Thank you so much. So let's continue building a future where biomedical engineering bridges the gap between possibility and access. And as we conclude, I urge everyone to carry today's insights into our work. Remember that the best way to predict the future is to create it. So let's create a future where healthcare innovation leaves no one behind. So I wish us all the best, and good day to everyone. So if you need more information about NSBCE, you can log into our website, www.nsbc.org.ng. So you can get to know more about NSBC through our website. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye, and thank you, everyone.